Hey everyone, today I'm going to be reviewing this Bulk 1.0 revamp that I made, and I'm very satisfied with how this MOC turned out, and I'm excited to show you all the finer details. Starting off with just a quick sense of scale, put Surge 1.0 next to him, which keep in mind Bulk 1.0 would have been the exact same height as Surge, and here's a ruler. You can see that Bulk is just almost at 10 inches tall. You can get him very close, and there's Surge at about 6 or 6.5 almost. So yeah, he's a lot bigger than his old 1.0 partners, as you can see. Before I get into the detailed review, I'll spin him around a few times so you can see some of his details from afar off and take in the full picture before I get up close and maybe cover up some of the details on accident as I'm moving him around with my hands. I want to point out that I removed his gun. That'll be reviewed later on. I want to point out a few things that I'm happy with about this MOC, and a few of those are, well, one, that I replicated the gun pretty closely, but like I said, I'll show you that later on, and that I used his leg armor just like the actual set had in gray, but this time I gave him, of course, not fixed joints, so his legs, of course, can move. This MOC, unfortunately, isn't as posable as I'd like him to be, but I'm glad I was able to incorporate those armor plates on his legs. And another thing is his chest plate. I'm glad I was able to put that on this MOC, and I think it fits pretty well. I thought about trying to replicate the whole shaping with pieces and with smaller Lego pieces, but I decided going with the actual chest plate would look better. We'll look at his legs first. I really like the leg design. Unfortunately, due to over detailing him, the leg design doesn't have much posability. Just about the same as the 1.0s, to be honest, the original sets. Now his feet have an interesting double ball joint design. That's pretty much the only way I could have connected them with the pieces that I had already in place on this MOC. He lost a Baraki eye right there. But I think the leg design looks good. This is, of course, a display MOC, so I'm not heartbroken about the limited posability. I think I closed up the legs nicely enough, and I actually used a preset joint piece there, but I was able to cover it up pretty well with this Bionicle armor plate and a Hero Factory armor plate right there. I put jet boots on the back. I don't know why, I just thought that would be a good added detail. I think it looks cool too. And Bulk actually had a jetpack on one of the 1.0 movie scenes, but I didn't incorporate that. I kind of just replaced it with the jet boots. And that's really all I have to show with the legs. I'll give a quick turnaround once more so you can see some of the details yourself. And we lost another Baraki eye. That's the one thing. I put this utility belt on him to hold ammo for his gun. Sometimes the Baraki eyes will just slip out of their holders. I'm really happy with how his upper body turned out. You can see that he can move backwards and forwards just a little bit. I put a joint in there so he could have a little bit of torso movement, so you could get some poses that you wouldn't normally be able to get out of Hero Factory / Bionicle guys. I like the arm design. I will say I think it suffers a little bit from being too bulky. And I meant to put tire pieces right there on those exposed little parts of the bone piece or the joint piece that's running through there, but that slipped my mind. You can just imagine that there's a small tire piece right there to cover up that skinny little joint right there. I put some details around his arms, like this little temperature gauge right there. I would say that's for his gun. And then this is kind of like a small shield he has. His arms are very bulky, quite a bit bulky, but I guess that fits the character. And not too much around back. It's a little bit of a gap right there and there. But these shoulder armor plates just look too good for me to exclude them from the build. Because once I put them on, I thought they fit so well. Bulk 4.0 had a similar design to this. He actually used these pieces, but they were at a little bit different of an angle. But, I mean, it's basically the same design. And of course, this is also Bulk 4.0's head. 1.0 and 4.0 shared hero heads. But around back, you can see some of the designs on his arms. I think he looks pretty good from all angles, but definitely the front is the best angle, of course. That's how MOCs typically are. And I just really like this MOC all around. I think he is a pretty good revamp, I would say. And now we'll move on to the gun. Here are the guns. I think I did a pretty good job of replicating this fixed piece, which this piece is really cool. I always wanted to make my own whenever I was younger, but I didn't have the pieces until now. And so I tried to replicate it best I could. The spear on top looks decent. There are a few shapes and a few parts I couldn't quite get right. One is the barrel. I couldn't find a piece that is cut off like that. I'm sure they exist, but I just couldn't get that shaping right. I went with a different barrel, as you can see. The ammunition looks pretty good. It's a little closer. These have a space between them, but I don't think that's too big of a deal. And of course the hand is right there. Now this piece, as you can see, is the whole arm, which I didn't replicate. Like, this connects at the elbow, this part right here, but I just let it go a little past the wrist. So I took some creative liberties. For one thing, to keep them roughly the same size. But I think it looks pretty good. The back doesn't look very good, but they share that same quality. But I think it looks close enough. I think people who are true fans will recognize that it looks pretty close. That's really all I have to say about the gun. Tell me what you think about it in the comments. I'm sure some people will see some mistakes with this gun and will probably have good ideas on what other pieces I could substitute to make it look closer to the actual gun design. So that's all I have for this video. Tell me what you think about the MOC in the comments down below. And as always, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe and check out some of my other videos.